Hello, I'm Nathaniel Hoover, and this is another installment of Hacks and Slash, the GameCola podcast where we read questionable fanfiction. This one we are calling Earthbound 3 Mother 4, and it is a collaboration from the GameCola staff. We all participated to make this the best fanfiction you've ever heard.
We also want to give credit to the GameCola Faithful, who also contributed to this work of art that we have created.
So these people that you're going to be listening to for the next however long are as follows. I'm Nathaniel. I'm going to be the narrator/author.
Hi, I'm Diana Gray. I'm going to be playing Tootie S.
I'm Joseph Martin, and I will be playing such wonderful parts as Gerald Ford, along with many others.
The old fanfiction standby.
We're off to a great start. Yes, I am Alex, the Jedraszczak, and I will be playing the parts of Buzz Squared and Duty Dark Tootie.
Among others.
Hi, I'm Anna Bryniarski, and I'll be playing the parts of Tutorial Person and many others.
Hi, I'm Shannon Hoover, and I'll be playing the part of Mick Ball and many others.
Hi, I'm John Rizzi. I'll be playing the role as Starman Deluxe, as well as many others.
Well, this looks promising so far. It's spelled properly. Chapter 1, a new beginning. Shoot.
Shoot!
Nestled in her cozy bed at her home in the small town of Threet, Tootie Switch was lost in dreams of cola and games when, suddenly, a violent crash broke the peaceful silence of the night. Sitting bolt upright in bed, she rubbed her eyes, then rushed downstairs to find out what could have caused the tremendous tremor that ripped her from sleep. The 77-year-old bag in the bedroom sprung open the door, only to be greeted by a thick layer of fog. Barely a thing outside was in sight. Tootie ran to the kitchen, climbed the cabinets, and obtained a flashlight. Flashlight in hand, she returned to the door, but upon shining her light into the foggy abyss, she saw a single pair of glowing eyes looking back. Were they eyes? Nah, it was a pair of floating ears. Yeet.
Here you go, said.
The ears. I'm sorry, the quotation marks are in an awkward place. What can I do? The ears, as they looked eerily at our young striped hero.
Gamma!
Said Tootie to her 77 years having grandmother.
There are a bunch of exactly 2 ears at our front door.
Your grandmother's gone, dearie,
said Gerald Ford, appearing from behind her.
She was abducted by the hearing aids, a vicious gang of otolaryngologists, that was spelled correctly, I assume, who've been running amok in town lately, causing all sorts of trouble, like robberies and stealing people's ears.
Oh no!
Tootie said to the real actual Gerald Ford.
I will have to save her then. But how I do that?
Don't worry,
said Jerry Ford, as his friends like to call him.
I will bequeath upon you psychic powers.
And then Tootie had psychic powers.
Wow, I totally just leveled Carrot without doing anything. Thank you, Jerry.
Not a problem. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go wire your half-brother, whom you've never met, $10,000 for defeating a floating fetus.
Jerry then left the room, leaving Tootie to go on her adventure. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 2, second chapter. Author's note. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the first chapter. This is going to be a new chapter I'm working on right now, and there's going to be some cool stuff. Also, I don't own Nintendo or Earthbound, but I've played them before, so it's okay. Lots of brackets. Now that she had psychic powers, Tootie decided to take a quick rest before setting out on her adventure. She grabbed some leftover bacon, her favorite homemade food, from the countertop for a snack in her journey. Fortunately, the strange fog from earlier had finally cleared up in the daytime, so she could see things now. She went to step outside, but her grandma called out,
You forgot to change out of your jams, my dear.
I thought my grandma got kidnapped. Sorry.
She snuck away just to tell her that. Okay, back to the kidnapping. She said so she went back upstairs and changed out of her striped parmejans, that's what I like to call my PJs, don't at me, into her favorite striped shirt, and went back outside. The first thing she did is grab the magic butterfly that was floating by the house, because of course, they always show up when you're at full MP. With this in mind, 2D captures the butterfly in a jar and stores it for later. She makes her way down the road where she runs into an old friend looking at closed-off area where the explosion was in the distance.
Hey, what happened?
2D asked her friend.
There was an explosion.
They said.
An explosion?
2D explained.
There was an explosion.
They said.
Why was there an explosion?
2T inquired inquisitively.
There was an explosion.
They said. 2D realized she should probably move on to the next NPC at this point. She moved on from the friend to a person that you can tell is going to be important because this one has an actual name. This person's name is Jorm, and he said the words...
They're saying that the explosion was caused by an underground weather balloon, but I'm not buying it.
Jorm was a big and tall guy who had legs for days, as the kids like to say, and also was apparently very suspicious of explosions. Which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. BQs, explosiones are usually very loud and annoying. and they can set things on fire, which is bad, and can cause not only property damage, but also a lot of heat. So Jorm was pretty justified.
I'm feeling pretty justified right now, if you know what I mean. Explosions just get me so hot.
Oh no.
Did not read that beforehand.
You looked up John Rizzi's dating profile on the popular dating app Mother, and he lists himself as explosexual. He must be one of those hipsters. Swiping left, 2D realized there was a hot single NPC right in her area. Her N.O. Lynch Atlas brand GPS marker said it best, only 0.1 meters away. She looked up from her app to see that the new NPC was indeed staring right at her, wearing a t-shirt that said, "Please ask me about tutorial info."
Did you know you can press L to talk and check things?
They said. 2D nodded.
Oh.
2D left the incredibly unhelpful tutorial man, who was not hot, BT dub, and continued on her merry way. She checked her Twitter on the way, and liked about 5 tweets before she got to the site of the explosion.
Dang, there was probably an explosion here.
She noted aloud to no one in particular.
A real big explosion, too.
Yeah.
Who is there?
Asked 2D, looking all around.
Why, it's me, Buzz Squared.
Said Buzz Squared.
I used time travels to get here. It's super important that we talk us up.
I don't know what a sup means, but we should talk right now.
Tootie answered.
Yeah, okay.
Buzz replied.
Okay, so I've taken the form of this tiny insect so as not to alarm you, but on my planet, I'm actually a really hot dude. Had to be said.
Tootie had her doubts about that, but decided to hold on to her tongue to listen to what the right-angled bugman had to tell to her.
I'm from an alien space planet, but not the one this meteor explosion came from. We were attacked by a race of people that look like your human ears and our alien feet, which is a wired coincidence, but hey, whom am I to judge?
Tootie's hotness doubts increased exponentially.
I love that sentence. That's an amazing sentence.
So, like, yeah, maybe can you help, maybe?
Buzz Squed asked.
I'm only 9 years old, so I don't know what much else I can do.
Said Tootie.
Please, I'm only 4 and I'm fighting an intergalactic war.
Exclaimed Buzz. As Tootie's doubts reached her limits, she runs over to the nearest police officer.
Mister, can you help me?
She asks.
Why, sure, young la. Ah!
The officer, startled by Buzz, swats him as fast as he could. The force causes Buzz to slam in. I like it, the force, like the police force, but also the. Anyhow, slam into the police car and drop to the ground.
Did you see that huge bug I just killed?
The officer said proudly.
I think I just daved humanity with my actions today.
That's great and all.
Tootie dismissive lead.
but you are the last person here at the explosion, so I kinda need you to tell me what my next things to be doing is.
A weak voice arose from the ground.
Go to the next town over. Terry, you will find another one with psychic powers.
Buzz squared, buzzed squarely. Chapter 3, Things That Go Boing in the Night. Tootie was about to head to the next village, but she suddenly adult rationalized.
I don't know how to use my sidekick powers yet. I should bring a baseball bat for fighting in the danger.
Fighting in the danger. Who could have predicted, though, on the way to Foursquare, she lost her GPS signal and was lost. A pink blob with whiskers shouted,
Zoom!
and tried to comfort her with a coffee, but she mistook it for a body part alien and hit it with her bat.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, the pink blob was a plot-critical NPC. Tootsie Roll, or whatever her name was, got a game over, and now you can stop writing and go see that movie you promised we were going to watch together. My boyfriend added the last part where I was in the kitchen making mac and cheese. Sorry! One reset button later.
Wow, the big city.
Said Tootie, as she looked up at the tall skyscrapers of Foursquare, and up onto them were many children playing the game Foursquare, which Tootie was also very familiar with as a 12-years-old child. Man, what a long journey she's been on since 9 years.
I've changed age like 3 times.
Tootie climbed up one of the scrappers and got at line in one of the games. She asked one of the other Foursquare players how the game was, and they said,
Hi. Cool striped shirt. Anyways, this is the game Foursquare, as we cool kids call it, and you play it by bouncing a ball in 4 squares. Also, do you happen to have psychic powers? And what's your name?
My name is Tootie Switch.
Said Tootie Switch.
But most people call me Tootie S because there is another girl in my class called Tootie, which is quite the coincidence because I googled it, and it's apparently a fairly uncommon name.
Tootie switched.
Cool, sure, whatever. Anyway, before Square, we start playing Foursquare. You need to check in on Foursquare. Remember that was a thing that people cared about, Foursquare, for some reason?
Tootie really didn't, because she was only 8 years old.
Wait! Oh no!
So she had to find the app first, and then download it, which was rough because she was roaming and was burning up her data on her dada's family plan for her celly phone, which was also technically her dad's, or her grandma's, or whatever.
Do I get psychic powers now, or what?
To die, asked, still trying to figure out what Foursquare is. The other kids shook their head and kept talking about Foursquare. I'm sorry, there's no S in that. Foursquare, and Foursquare, and Foursquare. To Die played virtual Foursquare on her phone and waited for the kid to stop talking.
Remember when kids played kickball?
Anyways, my name is Starlight, Alpha, Omega, Luminous, Twiglade, Daybreak, McBall, Foursquare, and I'm the Foursquare to the Foursquare fortune here in the town of Foursquare.
I am so glad that this is the voice that's happening right now. I'm just gonna call you McBall Foursquare for short, and McBall for shorter.
Said Tootie Tess.
I knew you were gonna say that because I can read minds with my psychic powers, and also that's what literally everyone does.
Said Salted and Biff. They talked for a bit about psychic powers and powered sidekicks and salted beef because Tootie's psychic sidekick and the side chick and her sidekick went to the sideshow where there was like a big guy they had to fight because the explosion made him turn evil, and Tootie used her new power of Psy Games to beat him, and half an hour later, after the battle, they were all standing around thinking about life. It was time to move on from Foursquare to 3D, where they'd beat their new friend Gary. As they left late that night, a Foursquare ball was kicked off of the building and boinged ominously behind them.
There's the boing I was looking for.
Chapter 4. The Foursquare ball was actually N-bomb, Gary said.
Don't worry, I got this. I will use my fish shiv powers, which I totally have, and throw the bomb in the air.
Larry did just that, and the bomb explodes and killed a weird alien ear or whatever thing. Because Perry said what he was going to do, he did do that. Tubi took a video and posted on YouTube and got 100 likes, and Tool felt proud for a min to an hour, then she got a dislike. Gary said to Larry,
Whoa, dude, good job.
And they high-fived, which made another explosion because of the psychic powers, get it? And somewhere in the world, Jorm felt super justified, if you know what I mean, but he didn't know why.
If you know what I mean.
Neither do we.
Tootie and McBall looked on the scene with astonishment and almost didn't notice that the signed to Threedle had a big plaster posted onto it reading, Welcome to Dansdale, which, in case you didn't know, is not the same name as Threedle.
That's odd.
Said Tootie, looking at her GPS to confirm that they were in the right place, when all of the sudden, I'm glad someone wrote all of the sudden, that's my favorite. A short and stout man came up and said,
Hi, my name is Daniel, but you can call me Dan, and over there is my friend Dan.
This was immediately suspicious. 2 Dans? At this time of year? Tootie, suspicious but not that suspicious, replied,
Hi, I'm Tootie, and this is my crew.
Dan's eyes widened as he literally screamed,
Your name isn't Dan, you blasphemer! I am making a citizen's arrest, and you and your friends are going to jail.
But then all three of them beat up Dan with their psychic powers, and it was really cool.
Smell you later, loser.
Gary laughed as he summoned a giant cannon water turtle, reference 60, with his mind and shot water at Dan and washed him away. Everybody cheered because they won, and Dan sucked anyways. He probably can't recognize a good story even if it bit him on his stupid arm. Dan!
I feel animosity here.
An old man timidly approached the group and rasped at them.
Is it really true? Is he finally gone? Oh, praise be to Ceiling Jorm, and blessings upon you and your turtle.
He continued conspiratorially.
I pretended my name was Dan so he wouldn't scream at me and send me jail, but it's actually Bobwick Quimperdink, the only rightful mayor of Threedle.
Then Bobwit's face got forcers.
But I'm afraid that our work is not done, for there is one final Dan pulling each and every string. I only hope he doesn't find out.
Suddenly, a large car pulled up with a man with a business suit and hat came out of the car and said,
Hello! Tootie S, my name is Dan Dugovic, owner of the Dansdale Dugovic. Thank you for locating my long-lost nephew, Dan Quumperdink, heir to the Dugovic fortune.
Large-hatted the Dan? Hi, another reference. If you get that, then you're cool. Bob Whit crowd out from under the car and pointer and said,
That's him.
Before passing out. Suddenly, Tootie realized that she was looking at the man, Dan, that the old man tried to warn him about, 2 minutes ago. Dan, the man with a very large van, started doing a villain speech about him and his Dan clan. Tootie said,
Hey, I have a plan to stop Dan, whose speech is really kind of bland. We can use psychic powers to summon a bunch of flans. I see what you're trying to do there. And throw it at his van. Then when he's distracted trying to clean his van, we hit him in the head like BAM!
Everyone agreed this was a good plan. Tootie, McBall, Gary, Larry, and Perry all healed hands, and Tootie shouted,
Okay, am I pronouncing this flan or plan? I don't know. Should I make it work with the rhyme scheme?
I think it's
Flan,
supposed
flan
to be
is not the
rhyming.
job.
I think that's...
Flan is now the job.
I'll make it work. Plan is now the jam!
And suddenly Dan was hit in the head with a pan of flan. When Dan came to, he shook his head and said,
Wow, thanks, I'm cured. I was evil, but now that flan has entered my brain and I can no longer be that. By the way, do you kiddos need adult supervision or something? 'Cause you all seem only 7 to 12 years old.
Tootie agreed, so she added Dan to her party. Ba, 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 ba. But she had too many, so she temporarily retired Perry because he hadn't said or done anything in particular, to be honest. Chapter 4.2, There's a Bad Guy.
Oh no.
What?
In the shadows, there was a person dressed all in black. Laughing to themselves, they kept laughing until that's a good way to obscure somebody's identity. Laughing to themselves, they kept laughing until the party was gone, and then they also left, but in a flash of smoke. Note to self, the person dressed all in black is actually Buzz Squared in a big brown trench coat, but the readers can't know that yet. Other note to self, remember to go back and delete all the notes to self before posting this time. That was perfect timing, because at that exact same microsecond, a Starman Deluxe, the size of an airplane, landed right behind our heroes. Perry.
Would you look Would you look at that? A Starman Deluxe the size of an airplane landed right behind us.
Tootie.
You're not in the party, Perry.
Dan.
Sorry, that was me.
Said Dan.
Hey, stop deliberating over there.
Said the Starman Deluxe with cheese.
Hey, check out all that cool cheese.
Said Dan.
Do not make fun of my cheese.
Said the Starman, and then a battle started because a swirl that was gray shot right into the TV screen, you know, like in games.
Ha ha ha, your puny psi powers are useless against me.
Shouted the Steelman Starman de Leche as he fired a powerful beam attack at Dan. Dan just smiled and pulled a battered super plush bear out of his suit jacket.
Always carry protection, kids.
He wise-mannered. Wise-manned, I'm sorry. He wise-manned. And protection it was. The beam attack hit the super plush bear right in the tummy, and stuffing flew everywhere, like if a turkey stuffed with stuffing had been hit by a beam attack in the same way. The Starman Del Rey then shouted,
Arrgh! Why you kids always have to carry bears with you?
And that made our heroes laugh out loud.
Can't you see the shirt?
Tootie yelled, pointing at her striped shirts.
It's because we're kids!
As she shouted this, she used Cygames on the Startman Deluxe, and it was really powerful because things are always more powerful when you yell the name of the attack, or in general. As the start menu DX evaporated into a piff of smoke, Dan looked on solemnly.
I felt kinda left out about that climactic moment, but I was evil like 2 sevens ago, so honestly, fair.
Chapter 4.20. Blaze it. Chapter 5. The next town. And things also happen, I think.
That's it.
After that tough battle with the Starboy Deluge, our heroes were really tired of all this fighting. But they continued to fight anyway because that's what kids do! So they went around town beating up dogs, gorillas, fish, and a taxipus. I think that means only one taxi? Plus poor Wally. The first time was by accident. They thought Wally was a fire hydrant, and then he got mad and started chasing them around everywhere. Now it's like he can't sit down without beating up a Wally. Dan quickly reached his arm out toward a large structure in the center of town that Tegang had just made it to.
Look, it's the Threedley Dugovic, previously the Dansdale Dugovic. We can use its town takeover power to remove the influence of whatever those ear lay-ins are called.
I sure would love to find out their names,
Said Tootie with emphaticness.
Let's ask some of their townsfolk here. They might know.
Says Dan to Trudy. They walked toward a tent in the center of town, but suddenly the tent came to life and started rapping at them! Exclamation points 1. Imagine there's a sick rap beat going on in the background of this part.
Anna, if you please. Keep going.
No,
Keep going.
It doesn't say that she has to keep going.
it doesn't.
Is someone gonna give me a rap beat? My name is Michael Tentman, and I'm here to say. My name is Michael Tentman, and I'm here to say.
Beautiful. I love
I
it.
spit all over my monitor now.
Michael Tentman said here while also rapping. It had no effect on Tootie. Dan could not stop crying. Larry felt inspired to start a rap career and left the party forever. Luckily, McBall was a secret rap career in their spare time and had a few choice words to saying.
My name is McBall, and I'm here to say subscribe to GCDotNet today.
Poetry in motion.
It's super effective! The tent groaned like Uncle Bob after eating too much turkey, and then became a regular tent again. Then Cloud from FFVII, whatever that stands for, bought the tent from Tubesdy and her purdy.
What?
2B and her party gets 50 monies. Everyone, hooray!
Hooray,
Where's Rich?
Where's Rich?
I'm right here.
Said Rich, who walked toward them with vigor.
Cool.
Said everyone who was not rich.
I've always wanted to be cool.
Said Rich, who started calling his mom to tell her the good news. Suddenly, Tootie's phone rang. Mom? Hello.
She said?
When she answered the phone, she could hear one voice coming out of Rich's phone like 3 feet away or whatever.
Mom.
Rich?
said,
You're gonna be so proud of me. I'm finally cool.
He looked at her,
Oh my
and
God.
she looked back at him. I didn't read that very closely when I was reviewing this fanfiction ahead of time.
This is about the time where I stopped writing and didn't look at it, so I'm completely blind past this point.
Awesome.
About.
Chapter 6. Can you believe it?
Can you
Oh
believe it?
my god.
Said McBall.
The drama just got real.
Don't you think, guys?
Nah.
Awkward, said Larry from outside the party.
I like how that's all in quotes. I don't need to do my job.
Did you dial the warned number?
Asked Toot-dee-dee-dee, not so certainly, hoping she's not a momther, which would be weird being a kid and all.
No, I didn't. I mean, whoops, my mistake.
Said Rich. Then Tootie eyes widened, and she yelled, read real fast.
Oh, thank you for that. Rich is my son from the future, and he called me forgetting I'm just a child who is about his age in this time, so he lied about it being a wrong number, all because he wanted me to think he's cool, even though I already did, but he didn't know that, which means I'm a mother. Ah!
Wow.
You guys like that? Was that good? Yeah?
But wait!
Said Dan.
Now that we know about that, doesn't that a time paradox?
And then he finished the sentence, and Rich disappeared in a poof, a smoke, and everyone forgot about him, because writing time travel stories is really hard. Seriously, guys, I was trying for like 50 Gregorian years. I'm sorry, Gregorgian years. And their minds got erased so hard then we're in the new town, which was called Fivetown, and it was by a cool lake that was neat. Chapter 6, How It Feels to Chew Fivetown. Triple star XD. How did you guys like that last chapter? Question marks. I was watching Back to the Future. Have you guys ever heard of that movie? And I thought it would be really cool to add in something like that. Anyway, here's the next chapter. I hope you like it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, lol. I don't own Nintendo or Earthbound or Fairly Odd Parents. Triple star. Anyway, forget all that word time travel stuff, because Rich really is Tootie's son from the future. But he is from the future, where paradoxes are illegal. So this is going to make perfect sense from here on out. Trust me.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you at all.
So now the gang has arrived in Fivetown, but it looks suspiciously more like a medium to large body of water than a town. As they were thinking about this fact, suddenly, a giant amphibian raised its equally giant head from the lake body of water.
Hello, I am the Toad of Sky.
Said the Todovsky.
That weird.
Said Tootie.
Because right now, you seem like the toad of being mostly in the lake.
Yeah, well, watch this. Then the toad launched, like, straight up into the sky. So then Tootie and friends had to go on an adventure at Five Lake, and they met a bunch of NPCs and stuff, and talked to people, and fought various amphibians, and leveled up, and Tootie learned a new skill, which sounded cooler than it actually turned out to be. And then there was this whole side story about potatoes that went on for a while, and then they got the Drano, which was just a big O, like the Atari, but when they throw it in the lake, it was a drain, and it drained the water. So the Todovsky came back and said,
That was my lake.
and he was agony. The Toad of Sky, trademark, attacked them from high above with his grotesquely long, sticky tongue, as if the party were flies he was trying to eat.
We'll never land a hit on that bloated frog from this distance, but last I checked, none of us can fly.
Lamented Tootie. But then Jeff Andonuts arrived in the Skyrunner and said,
Come with me if you want to live.
Perfect. In a cool action star kind of way. But he didn't really sound cool at all, because he's a nerd. They clambered in and flew up, dodging the constant barrage of tongue strikes, until they finally crash-landed on the TOS's back, and saw he wasn't an amphibian at all, but a giant robot! Lots of exclamation points.
How on earth do we fight this giant robot?
Dan asked, looking frustrated.
We won't even be able to make a dent.
To illustrate his point, he smacked the top of the robot, which hurt his hand quite a bit, actually. The entire party laughed at him because that was hilarious.
Maybe you...
Hasta la vista, baby.
Maybe you could just be better.
Tootie said, punching a hole into the robot. Dan was embarrassed as he followed everyone else inside the robot because he realized his fly was down. Inside the robot, it was like a huge maze that was almost like a dungeon. Man. Gary thought it was cool, but Mick Ball thought the music was annoying. Mick Ball broke out his phone and hacked into the robot to get a map of the maze/dungeon/maze/robot/thing, cause he is not only a master Foursquare player/rapper, he is also a master hacker. He led the group through the maze/thingamabob/ribot, get it? Because they're in a robot frog? But first changed the music to awesome montage music, which he has, and on the way traffic through a gigant ballroom with a ghost, a ROM with monsters that dropped gems, and had a chest that, when opened, has music, and a platform room with these mushrooms/turtles/plant monsters, and a flagpole, wall references. But then the group got lost, so Tootie yelled,
Enough!
She grabbed the phone and looked into McBall eyes and said,
I'm the pro agent /main character /leader, so I'm going to lead the group.
I wasn't trying to upstage you, but go off, I guess,
said Mac Ball. Tootie stares at the phone really hard so that lasers shoot out of her eyes, and it makes a hole in the toad of maze and the fall into a glowing chamber.
This is it,
said Dan.
The heart of Toad of Sky.
The room started to shake.
He must know where and here,
Gary said, and outside the toad was hopping mad. The party walked into the heart of maze and Toad of Sky, and out from an aorta hopped a tiny toad that looked sad and landed in front of them. It was crying. Tootie cast Psy Games on the toad, and it got really mad and hit her in the face with its tongue. Tongue.
We need to beat the sadness out of this toad. That's like that.
Tootis squelched with a...
Go ahead.
Sensible indeed. Tootis squelched with a frog tongue still stuck at her face. And so Tootie and the party hit the toad with attacks of all kinds, but only made the toad cry more, until he was crying so much that the room was flooding. Suddenly, red lights started flashing, and a robotic voice said,
Error, short circuit detected, self-destruct sequence activated, 1.
That's how she actually talks with me when we're home together. And really intense music started, and a 30-second timer appeared on the top right side of the screen! Chapter 6, the next day.
Wow, I can't believe we all made it out of that alive.
Said Tootie to her ghost friends Dan, Gravy, and McBalls, who were following her around with halos on their heads. 24 hours previously, ... When we last left our heroes, they were battling for their lives in the heart of Toad of Sky. Suddenly, red lights started flashing and a robotic's voice said,
Error, short circuit detected, self-destruct sequence activated.
And really intense music... Sorry, I cut you off. And really intense music started, and a 30-second timer appeared on the top right side of the screen.
30 seconds? Really? That's a little aggressive, don't you think?
McBall complained aggressively.
Don't worry.
Said Largy.
I can stop time so we can escape.
Everyone had a face like, WTH, you have time powers and you've never used them before? Like, why? As Largair cast the Psychic spell, Lars accidentally cast an Explosion spell, though. Instant KOing the entire party except Tootie, because she's the main character and has the most HP, because she's bad butt. Sorry, folks, gotta keep it K+. End stuff. Then everyone was knocked out of the Toadovski, and the great evil was defeated! Exclamation points. Gee. Lol, sorry, I meant Gargy, not Largy. I forgot which one was in the party. So hard to keep track of all these characters. So anyway, the toad blew up, and there was toad guts everywhere, and it was pretty gross, but at least it wasn't sad anymore. Anyway, they went to the hotel, and Tootie went to sleep, and all the ghosts just stared at her because the hotel doesn't fix death. Anyway...
The hotel doesn't fix death. I'm sorry.
Anyway, then Tootie was really angry because she had to go to the hospital. She was so angry anyway, then she heard a voice in her head, and it said,
Tootie, it's me. It's the toad. You're angry because of me. I was angry, and now you're angry too.
Oh god, I'm crying.
Tootie was packing around angrily when... you can tell, that's really angry. Angrily! When suddenly a small girl pulled on her fabulous stiped shirt.
Excuse me, miss, but are you very angry right now?
Said the small girl.
Yes, small girl.
Angrily the toot.
Actually, my name is Jill.
But she was cut of. So yeah, everybody came back to life or whatever, and they were all like, wow, we were really lucky that you're the main character. Tootie, yeah, and stuff. And Tootie was just like...
Whatever.
Because she was angry. She thought about the Todovsky and tried to shake off the angry. Sorry, small girl.
She apologized to the small girl.
She said.
I know you're thinking how we came back to life. We all met this magical whiz nerd when you were asleep, blah blah.
Said one of the party members, but Tootie was too angry to care about what the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows.
Tootie?
Said the small girl.
I know where the hospital is and blah blah blah.
Tootie just walked away from the tale of the awesome adventures she slept through, and the kind small girl who could easily solve all of her problems if she was not too angry to listen. She walkled out of the inn and just kept wandering until she found a cave, and she started to feel a bad pain in her stomach. So do we have actually, like, self-insert characters here from the superfans who were writing as well?
It's not self-insert because they did not insert themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Various people inserted various other people.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
sorry, McBall.
It's Earthbound. You put in the names of people that you like.
Oh, it so much makes more sense.
Yeah,
so much now,
it's great.
more much sense. In the deep darkness of the cave, Tootie was overcome by a powerful wave of anger and nausea, heaving and spewing until it seemed her organs would also exit her body.
Ooh.
The vomit, to her amazement, coalesced into a sentient blorpy pile and teased her, saying,
Heeg, heeg, heeg. I was inside the Toad of Sky and then I entered you. Thank you for bringing me back to my lair, but sadly, it will be the last thing you ever...
But he was abruptly cut off by a jar of fly honey hitting him in the face, followed by a disintegrating blast of PSI Starstorm. Julissa, granddaughter of the Star Master, picked Tootie's jaw back up off the floor and continued,
Now, as I was trying to say, if you had just listened to me...
Tootie was about to get angry about this, but remembered that the cholera had been removed from her body.
Wait! When did we establish this was the cholera?
This is organ
What else makes you angry?
Yeah, what else makes you angry?
That's true. It's a good point. Nothing. So wait, what just happened? I really have no clue. I thought this was going in a different direction, and suddenly all these things went on. Also, where is everybody? Every Bedoy.
She looked around.
Guys, are you here? Larry, Gary, Perry, Dan, Mac, Bill, Gerald, Grandma. I'd even go for Toad of Sky. Toadovsky, Toad of Sky right now.
No.
Said small girl, the small girl.
This is the part of the game where you do stuff by yourself and grow emotionally as a person or whatever. You'll need to fight the spirit of all bad vibes. Call Era, who also happens to be my mother.
Wait a minute.
Tort contraction.
Contraction. Are you telling me that your mom is a boss?
Yes, a small girl. Smalls girl.
Chapter 7. Oh good, we're finally out of Chapter 6. Dream.
Oh, that reference, Jesus.
Dream! Yes, it's named after the Shark Boy and Lava Girl song. I don't care what people say. That was a good movie at exclamation points.
Never was.
Tootsie was very tired and decided to take a nap. Tuju awoke in their dream wearing stripped pajamas and looked at all the funky colored scenery.
Oh, you've waken up.
Said a voice from behind her. She saw two people standing. In the room, one was a buff dude guy with a bird head like a bird, and the other was a cool-looking guy with a cat head.
My name is Bryniarski, he said.
Oh, neat.
Human-headed Toodles.
So you guys are like my temporary party members for this bit?
Said the bird-headed birdhead replied.
Ka!
Inexplicably, everyone thought this was hilarious and repeated it until the end of time. Chapter 8. The Time Ended.
Oh no.
Jeez.
It was then that something hit Tootie. Not the kind of hit like in basketball, where people run after the smack sound. No, this was definitely a different kind of hit. Like when you taste a hot dog for the first time, I've been told. It was the kind of hit that, like, you know when you're standing on the corner and the bus comes and there's a puddle of mud or dirty water or something on the ground, but then the bus slows down just enough that you don't get splashed by the water? Like that, I think.
That was a paragraph. It was kind of beautiful.
Only the finest fan fiction for you, folks.
Yes.
Burbs and cats hate each other, so why are they both cooperating together in my dream?
Said the Tootie.
I'm not actually a cat.
Claimed Miaskovich, scratching his ear with his hind leg like a cat in juxtaposition. Tee-hee, I just learned what that word meant in class today.
Ka!
Oh god.
Perfect. Said the bird guy before he sprouted two rainbow-colored wings and flew into the sunset like Ho-Oh in episode 1 of Pokemon.
Follow that metaphor!
Shouted little T cause. Oh, I'm sorry. Shouted little T. Because she knew that all dreams... What is punctuation, anyhow? Because she knew that all dreams are full of those cha-chings. Her and Miaskovich bounced from cloud to cloud to chase after the birdophore, when suddenly they were pulled over. The dream police.
You are under arrest. Sorry, let me try that again. You're under arrest for jumping clouds too fast.
Sacked the Sans Sheriff.
Oh no.
Said T-Doo. But then, you know that thing that happens in dreams where you know it's a dream and stuff starts getting weird? Well, it was like that, and the policewoman, I never said it was a guy, put them in the car, but then Tootie was driving the car, and they drove to where the fly guy went, and they got there fast. Meanwhile, on the ground, a shadow was watching them in the clouds.
I'm angry.
The shadow said it was angry. Suddenly, a man with a suit and holding a Brioff case, is that like a toad of sky, a brie of case, leapt upon to the speeding fly car.
I am suing you for theft and of the intellectual property of cars flying really, real fast.
Oh.
Then the attorney, reaching into Ho's case, and pulled out a giant axe to hit the car with, presumably.
What? I thought everything was gonna go smoothly after that. How could this happen?
Tootie said, and then Gary Miaskovich Dan, who I think was still there, and I don't know, small girl, all said...
It's
because of Joe's F. Martin.
And they looked into the camera like it was The Office.
This is my punishment for putting so many people's names in.
Yeah, they put your name.
I think it was revenge.
Suddenly, the dark shadow began expanding, enveloping the dream clouds around it. A long, breathy sigh echoed through the empty dream space.
I'm beginning to wonder if you'd ever figure it out.
A black spike shot out into the flying car, penetrating its hull, making Toots have to push the emergency escape button code LSDT9, which launched her et al. Into the Birdman, whose bird head fell off, revealing a head of George Carlin from the TV show Gerald Seinfeld.
Wait!
S-I-G-N, Seinfeld.
What? Wow, Mr. Garland, I'm a big fan if I do say so myself.
The axe attorney pushed his way to the front to get the Flying Man's autograph, but a shadow spike shot between them, and they looked at where the shadow spike came from. It was from the shadow.
Angry. Tootie.
A voice said from the shadow, as a shadow figure came out from the shadow. Tootie looked at the shadow and said,
Yes, I am Todai.
the shadow replied.
I am Tootie, and you
Everyone looked at the shadow it was talking.
are Tootie. I'm sorry. Sorry, the delivery of everyone looked at the shadow it was talking. Let me take this again. Okay. Our Tootie, too.
Are you happy that I let you get your joke, Jetty?
Yes, thank you. This was the one that I got naturally. The other one I went back and put in. This one I did myself.
It just reads so cleanly off the tongue.
It's very good.
Chapter 9, Tootie versus Tootie.
I'm the shadow, the true self.
Said the true self, called the shadow Tootie. The shadow looked menacingly downwards as a spike protruded from itself toward Tootie. Tootie 1 was not pleased and used
PSI Starscream!
Shouted Tootie as Toodie, as a million stares fell from the heavens, or sky if you're an atheist. Kirby riding on one saying, Kirby!
Hi!
As we plunged his attack into the dark Toods.
Oh
But
my
the
God.
shadow Tootie quickly dodged the attack, taunting,
That's so sad I almost shed a tear. Do you want me to cry? Wait. Do you want to cry for help here in the dark?
Protagonist Tootie realized she did, in fact, need outside help, and used her secret ability, Pay. She paid from the bottom of her heart, and through microtransactions gained several levels, a cool new attack, a rockin' battle outfit, a chibi Mr. Saturn pet, and an OP bent golden baseball bat weapon, like from that anime Little Slugger. This was very strange to all her friends, who saw all these changes happen to her while she was lying asleep in a cave.
Could we wake her
her
up?
up?
Asked McDan and Ball? Question mark. I like McDan and
McDan
Ball.
and Ball.
The battle raged on inside Tootie's psyche between Tootie and Aitoot, that's dark/shadow Tootie, and her Bodhi rolled around in real life, and everyone looked on in horror and confusion because it was weird to see it happen without knowing what was happening or why it was happening and what was going on. Shadow Tootie in the dream world lifted Tootie up, the normal one, and said,
I'm angry!
and threw Taitu down, and she hit some clouds while the Birdman, Flying Man, and the Axe Attorney with the axe looked down for the Cloud Car police car as Flying Man signed a hat for his fan. Oh, what a
Okay.
sentence.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, we should definitely
wake her up.
Resoluted Glary, that's their ship name. Meh. Almost as if magic, Tootie awoke with a start, like when you feel like you're falling while you're in bed, but Tootie really was falling because she was awake. But dark smoke came out of Toots' ears, and then Dark Toots was also in the cave with everyone, including the Dream Gang.
How you thought you could escawake from me?
Squeak.
Gloated and floated DT.
This is terrible.
Everyone looked at each other.
What's going on?
They said.
Who are these people?
Said Ace Attorney and Flying Man. Attorney and Flying Man. Who are
Who
these
are
Who
boys?
are these people?
That was-
Said Gary, Larry, Dan, Small Girl, and McBill. They all looked at each other, and then they looked at Tootie and Duty. Dark Tootie.
Dark Tootie has 20 names.
Like everybody else.
I have 20 names.
Well, I hope you appreciate Duty Dark Tootie, because you're going to be hearing that one a lot.
There is no time to explain.
Shouted the Toots.
You need to transform now.
Said Tootie as she pointed towards the Axe Attorney and Flying Guy. The two began glowing as they struck a pose and fused together her into Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. Trademark. Everybody looked on in amazement as the two grabbed Dark Atoot and flew into the sky, preparing to body slam her into the ground.
Also, the fanfiction randomly changes font size.
Yeah, I
was
noticed
wondering.
that.
I did notice that.
I have no idea if this was intentional or not.
Yeah, not so F's.
Retortled D. Toot. And she stuck her hand out, and a bunch of cave shadows turned into Earlians. Law, remember those guys? It was secretly her the whole time. All of them began attacking the gang as Harvard Bird Guy slammed Dart T into the ground. Harvard spread his wings and leapt up, his great axe appearing in his outstretched hand, with a flash of light as he flapped once and dove, rocketing down at Duty, Dark Tootie. But she rolled out of his way as he swung the axe lol and shot a shadow spike at him.
Take that, grrr! You're making me angry!
She said. Everybody was fighting the alien earlians in the air, and it wasn't going too great, and Tootie got annoyed that her friends were a bunch of losers. I mean, come on. She was about to use Psy Games, but she stopped for a second, and she could feel the shadows within her growing. No, I must fight! But I was taking over her hand. It was turning like shadowy and stuff. But she cast Psy Games, and it totally destroyed the aliens, but like Dan and McBall and whoever got hurt too. Today was becoming more and more shadowy-like, or whatever, and Duty, Dark Tootie, flew up and threw a punch, however that's pronounced, I don't even know what are words, a punch at her, but Tootie, normal Tootie, grabbed her hand and blocked it and smirked and threw her back, and they were fighting then, and everybody was watching. Clouds and shadows and stuff were flying all over the place, and the shadowy Tootie and the shadowy A-Toot were fighting and rolling on the ground. Dan said...
We need to help Tootie.
And Birdman raised his axe, but with all the shadows and whatever he couldn't tell was which, and when he had the chance to strike, he stooped and said,
Tootie or not Tootie? That is the question.
And stooped himself. Dark Tootie was on her last legs when, all of a sudden, something crazy occurred. As if this wasn't crazy yet. A flash of light glistened off of DT, and she transformed, revealing herself to actually be...
Oh my god, is that you,
Buzz
Buzz
Squared? Exclaimed everyone. Buzz Squared.
Yes, it is I. I had returned in order to do battle with you and your party to make sure you were prepared to fight the Gygagas. Everyone looked around confused because they didn't know what a Gygas was. My dear Tootis,
Spurred Buzz.
You are truly powerful, but you must not give in to the Color Ranger when fight.
The collar anger.
Oh, Color Ranger. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I was thinking like Color Ranger, like a Power Ranger.
The aforementioned Tootis looked around and understood that she had gone too far.
But how can we forget... Is that Gyarados?
Gyarados?
Is that how you spell Gyarados?
Yeah.
I think there's an extra
Yes, it is.
letter.
I don't know, I'm gonna go with Gyarados. But how can we forget Gyarados if we don't use our strongest power of dark bad feelings within ourselves?
TQ'd McBall, Dan, Small Girl, Meowskovich, Gary, Larry, Perry, who took a hiatus from his world tour just for the Storm Axe Attorney and Flying Man, who split back in to Rich, who came back from the future, like the movies, lol. Grandma, and also Gerald Ford all put his hand on her shoulder and said,
Together, everyone.
With
With
the
the
power
Friendship.
of
Friendship.
Friendship.
It's like Avengers Endgame.
Hey, don't
I also
spoil
like
that.
that they all put Gerald Ford's hand on her shoulder.
I guess so. With the power
pretty old.
well, wait, hold on. That's not how you spell friendship. Gotta reread that word. With the power of friendship.
Toady whispered, and a single tear fell from her face. She felt the anger melt away, and love replaced all the anger in the heart. Buzz Squared joined the others and put his arm... Is he a bug?
Yeah.
Oh well,
I don't
that's
know.
fine, whatever. On Tootie, and said...
You're ready.
He also shed a single tear. The two tears joined Toadget, and their psychic powers
Oh, God.
joined together. The room then fell to black, and a loading bar appeared. After what felt like forever, a new room loaded. It was the final boss room, and right in the middle was Gyarados, sitting in a cool throne, like tossed. Garbuse hadn't noticed the everyone yet, so Besquared tilled to Tootie.
You must watch out for Gurgax. He does not follow the rules of our world, so you must be ready for anything.
Then Gygax set upward on his phone.
Oh, hail and well met, my fine fellows. What brings you all to my humble abode on this most salubrious of dates?
Tootie stepped forward and said,
Are you Genghis?
Nobody talks to me in such a manner,
said Gamp Goose. Then he did something unable to be explained. 2D watched in awe. You kind of had to be there for it, but believe me, it was great. Graboid struck a cool pose and said,
What do you have to say about that?
But nobody said anything because they couldn't say anything Garbodor, and then prepared another attack, but then suddenly turned and glared at the camera.
Why can't you ever get my name right?
He yelled at the author. The author just shrugged, which made Garfield even more mad.
No matter.
Grangledorf shouted as he swept his hand across in front of him.
Soon I will be rid of you peasants and this horrid story once and for all.
He looked towards the sky, or heavens if you're a theist, and raised his arms up to reveal a shower of shimmering... That's good. Shower of shimmering shadow spikes, all pointed at the party.
See, this is what I was preparing you for.
Revealed Buzz prepared. Tootie suddenly realized that if Duty, Dark Tootie, was Buzz Light Squared, then that meant the whole Toad of Sky thing was set up by the future bug thing or whatever. I mean, right? Like, they literally just said that it was to prepare her, Tootie, for this, the fit, which meant the Toad thing, was done on purpose, and, like, the whole A-Toot thing happened because of beating up the Sadie Toad or whatever, right? Am I just imagining all of this? I don't know. The point is, Tootie got angry, and she realized the power was inside her all along, and it was the power of anger, like the Hulk or something.
I think we just got really existential there for a minute. Hang on, I gotta sit up for this. Tootie smash!
Yelled the smashing Toadie. Gainax fell backwards from the blow, but got back up after dong a sweet flip. Once again, you had to be there to see it. Guy Gas.
Ha 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 ha! Pathetic human! You are no match for me!
Said the Gyangus before casting Meteor Cholera level 99.
Oh my god.
The entire party just stared in shock at what would most likely be the end of the world. Final chapter! The final chapter! The end of the world! Question marks?
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Zoinks! I can't do a
Said
Scooby-Doo voice.
Tootsie in her best Scooby-Doo voice. Then she laughed because it was funny. But then she stopped laughing because this was not the best time to be making the Zoink jokes. I'm sorry, I wanted to do that deadpan, I just couldn't.
Or is it?
Thought 2D out loud.
Guys, favorite cartoons, stat!
Everyone kind of looked at her super confused because this didn't seem like the time to be talking about cartoons, but whatever.
The Simpsons?
Uncertain Gary, but then Bob Whit stepped forward dramatically and said,
Futurama!
And everybody looked around at each other as they started to get the idea.
Garfield and Friends.
James Bond Jr.?
Wow, what a reference.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the one from 2003, not the original or the other one.
Turtles Forever. Dragon Ball Z does anime count? I mean, the guy in the Cartoon Network commercial said it was the greatest action cartoon ever made, so...
Everyone started chiming in with... Did they actually spell chiming right? I can't even
Yeah.
tell anymore.
Yeah.
With their stupid cartoon choices, but what was really happening was they were strengthening their friendship.
Phineas and Ferb.
What childish nonsense is this?
Adult nonsense, Gigarser.
Children's cartoons have no place in a battle for the destiny of the world with an opponent as formidable as I. Have at you!
The dark sporks stabbed at Toot et Oot, but the radiant energy of them all talking about Kratens that they liked were too much, and the Sponks cornbled against the barrier of their youth energy.
It's close, but not enough. Is everyone thinking about the thing that they like?
Shouted McBall Foursquare, who was thinking about their dream to create Five Square, the sequel to Foursquare.
Wait, where's Perry?
Oh, come
Question
on.
mark.
Very good quality cartoon reference.
That's a good one.
Harry went back to his world tour because this was honestly way too much and he wasn't leveled up enough for a big boss battle. Everyone thought about a thing they really liked. Those thoughts reached all the way out to everyone in the world, including Tootie's grandma. Garchomp did a cool spinning twisty move, and all the speaks swirled around him. He shouted,
I will not be bested by a 10-gallon buffoon, a 90s sitcom star in avian cosplay, some no-name competitor of a playground fantasy, a bipedal feline, 3 random morons whose only defining character trait is a rhyming name scheme, and a dumb kid who has only managed to survive this long through the contrived machinations of an extraterrestrial insect.
The spikes blasted forth from Gygash.
And your striped shirt looks absolutely, positively inane.
That's how you really feel. Jesus.
It was then that 2D discovered a power more powerful than friendship power. The fury of a woman's shirt scorn. The stripes shuddered, then grew and expanded into a gigantuan wireframe, and suddenly everything in this flat, sprited world began to change and grow textures and anti-aliasing and polygons. Amazingly, our fearless Herobrine had transformed into something she had never imagined. 2D was now 3D! Oh, I'm so clever.
You dare mock the shirt of me, 3D? You must die!
exclaimed 3DS. There's a 3DS. Out loud, using the power of friendship and furry, Tri-D blasted a hole right through Giglio and annihilated him.
This isn't over. One day I shall return and...
Gurgies began saying before being suddenly cut off by Rich.
Not anymore, you won't. I'll make sure my future is protected too, by blasting you with this!
Then Rich pulled out a standard AK-47, shot Guy's gas, and kill-stole the last boss. Way to go! TBC. Author's note. Wow, it's finally done! What did you guys think? Tootie.
It was great. I really liked the part where I exploded into Cool and defeated Enhatzer. The bad guy's name was?
Perry.
Hey guys, I'm back with pizza.
Everyone.
Oh, there you are, Perry.
There you are, Perry.
Harry?
Jorm.
Hey, it's me, Jorm. Also, Perry, what are you doing all that time? Pizza doesn't take that long.
Perry.
Well, I am just a side character without any lines. I don't do much. Perry gives a little winky to everyone.
Double star. Thanks for reading, and be sure to check out my next sequel fic, TBC, very soon. Double star. Last updated October 1st, 2007.
The end.
What is this monster we've all created?
Wait, was that a very oblique The End Day reference?
Very, very much so.
I think so. That
Well,
was a thing.
everyone,
TBC.
we've done it again.
We've done it again.
We've destroyed the English language.
I mean, I would say that this is a great fan fiction. I was really invested. I loved it. Great job, everyone. It
Yeah.
was a real team effort.
We did it.
Good job making this one not about alcohol.
Yeah, despite the 420 reference.
Despite my
which I
best
really
efforts.
thought- yeah.
There were a lot of places where this could have gotten derailed, and it didn't get entirely derailed. Although, Nathaniel, I do apologize, because there were a couple times where there were just like 3 paragraphs in a row where you just had to say utter nonsense.
Without a comma.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And as a professional editor, it hurts me that much more.
Oh, yeah. It's not good.
2D or not 2D? That is the question.
Yeah.
I was actually really tempted to send you all an email before we started this saying, oh, by the way, I looked over the fan fiction. I noticed a lot of spelling and grammar errors, so I went and fixed everything up.
You just fixed them all. We read an actually coherent fan fiction.
Well, thank you for listening to this incredible, wonderful, amazing edition of Hacks and Slash. I'd like to thank the GameCola staff for reading this, for writing this, and also the people, our friends in the GameCola Discord, including but not limited to McBall, Your Mom is a Boss, and Little Winky, and other people who I didn't get the names of, but everybody who contributed to this. Thank you. We wrote a novelette. This is long enough to be considered a novelette. Fun fact. And I'm very proud of the work we've done here today.
You can put this on your resume now.
Yeah.
Shed single tear. If you somehow liked this, if this was something we're like, you know what? I need more of whatever this was. I guess of immediate interest to you would be the episode 9 of Hacks and Slash, where we did basically this with the Crystallis. The rest of Hacks and Slash is this, except not intentionally this.
Yeah.
I guess, is the pitch of the show for that now. You can also check us out on our actual internet website, GameCola.net, or our YouTube channel, GCDotNet, the letter G, the letter C, the word dot, and the word net. Videos of the podcast are posted there. You could see, or other video content like Danganronpa. What else? What else do we have? Social media.
Yeah, look us up on Facebook, where we're GameCola. Look us up on Twitter, where we are GameCola. Please share hashtag Hacks and Slash. Oh no, I said the word hashtag. What's becoming of me? I'm
Hash
sorry.
brown. Quick, fix it. Hash brown.
Please use the tweet number. Hacks and Slash.
Pound.
We also have GameCola on Twitch. If you want to find us, just type GameCola in whatever thing you think we're on, and you'll probably find us. Only programming note I have for you is that the season finale of season 2 of Hacks and Slash will be out later this month. We're going to be returning to a old favorite. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but get excited. It is a highly requested return.
We're going to be doing a live show in Washington, D.C.
You wish.
Share with this podcast with your friends, and that may happen, and it is my dream. I've already determined how we would do a Hacks and Slash.
I would love that.
I've already figured it out.
That'd be so fun.
Diana, I know you're going to MagFest. You need to shop this. You should shop this podcast around while you're at MagFest.
Okay, I will.
We have T-shirts, coffee mugs.
We don't have.
We don't have
any of the
those
things
things.
Jenny's talking about right now. We need to end the podcast before we get sued for saying something that's incorrect.
I'm a lawyer.
Nathaniel,
it's okay.
end the podcast, please.
I'm not a lawyer. That's a lie.
I mean, I have a T-shirt.
Oh, is it like one of the squirrel ones inside
Thank
the
you
guide?
for listening to this episode of Hacks and Slash. Don't sue us. Bye.
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 Tootie oo.
Okay, I can hear you again. Hi.
Everyone stop talking about Joe.
Joke's
Oh,
on
Joe.
you. I'm going to hear the entire recording.
Oh. Yeah.